Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've not done many videos in recent times just because I get I get very frustrated still. I'm in Thailand and the situation in Thailand is still kind of where most Western countries were 6 months ago in terms of government policies like wearing nappies on your face. And so I don't watch the news, and with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, especially, I just don't watch any news. I don't read any news. I don't watch any YouTube channels about these topics whatsoever. And talking about it frustrates me and gets my blood boiling. I've just had a conversation with family members who I miss a lot, extended family abroad, and I've not seen them in over 3 years. And they're like, when are you gonna come? When are you gonna come? I said, well, as soon as they lift the mask mandate on airplanes. And I, what? For something small like that, you're not gonna come? And to me, it's not small. And I've just been trying to explain that. And it's not getting through because unfortunately, the majority of people on this planet are compliant, especially young people today. They're meant to reject authority and rebel against it, right? Punk rock and whatever, what I grew up with in the 80s and 90s, it's all gone. Young people today just haven't got a clue. They've got, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but back to the mask thing. And the compliance. So I'm not compliant, and I walk around. There are places in the street I never wear it, never. And thankfully, people don't tell me to wear it. I think in the last year, this is obviously in Thailand. It's maybe happened to me 2 or 3 times that someone has said something, and my reaction is usually very harsh, very. And it actually happened to me last week. Whilst I was working, there's a mall which is just for the jewelry business, gemstones and suppliers and dealers and whatever else. And I was in there, and one of the security guards told me to put my mask on. I had it on my chin, and he told me to lift it up. And I used French language, 2 words, told him to where he can go. And I kept walking, but it was like instant reaction that I can't control anymore. So I've become very unsociable. So the conversation with my family, oh, come on, it's a 12-hour flight. No, because it's a symbol of compliance. It's a symbol of control, wearing a nappy on your face. And I explained for my kids and that they don't wear at all, and no one will tell them to wear. And one of my family members said, well, what if, they're not wearing the mask and someone with corona gives it to them? I said, well, number one, it's not dangerous to children, number one. Number two, your understanding of the purpose, the supposed logic of wearing a mask is completely wrong. It is not to prevent you from getting it. It doesn't reduce your risk of contracting it. It reduces you spreading it if you have it, right? Because obviously your phlegm and whatever else isn't just being spread everywhere. It's going into your mask. It's just reducing the spread by people who have corona. If you come into contact, there is a flip side to the coin. So if you come into contact with any corona, okay, and it's on your hands, wearing a mask and you're fidgeting with your mask, now it's plastered to your face. If you didn't have the mask, you're not fidgeting and it's not plastered to your face. And in the outdoors, in the beautiful UV, it dies instantly. So there's an argument to be made that banning the outdoors increase the spread, that having people indoors under aircon increase the spread, and having people wearing masks and they're fidgeting with it all the time increase the spread. So the science is not there. You can definitely argue against it, and in a healthy society would be allowed to argue against it. However, it's not being allowed, and the effect is that the majority of the population accept what they are told, and they toe the line, and they're obedient. And this is the problem. It is people like that, people that I love, people that I care, and people that I'm friends with, are enablers of tyranny. I'm sorry if you don't like that. And I've used the example of 1936 Germany. Let's not look at 1940-41. Let's look at 3 years prior to the outbreak of the war. The Nazi Party were enacting many terrible things, very tyrannical things that were targeting certain groups and members of society, and the general public didn't burn it all down, right? Where were Black Lives Matter when we needed them? So instead, they were compliant for whatever the reason, whether it's fear, right? Or fear of being outcast, fear of being targeted, fear of losing their job, fear of their social standing, whatever it is, or whether they actually supported it. The fact of the matter is that the majority were compliant, and it was very easy then to enact all of these different policies. I'm not going to be compliant. And as long as we are mandated by the airliners to wear a mask in flights, I'm not flying. I lost a family member, old age. It's my grandmother. May she rest in peace. She was a short, fat potato with asthma. And she got to 3 weeks shy of being 90. So she did very well. It's a different subject. It's a video for another time, because she got her second booster, and the next day she was zombified, and 6 weeks later she's gone. And she was perfectly fine before that. All my family members admit that that's the case, that she was. But ordinarily, I'd have been on a flight, and I'd been out there, and I'd been with all my family and grieving with them all and showing my respects. And because of the mask, I'm not. And people struggle to understand, like, I think you're taking it to overboard, you're taking it to extreme. Okay, you can think what you want. But I think by your being compliant, you are an enabler of tyranny. And what's been going on is nothing short of extreme tyranny. Right? Schools closed. My kids haven't been to school for a year. A year. Where's the science on that? On the damaging effects on them and their prospects for the future. So, for those of you who might be watching this and have been compliant, and you feel somewhat, you can understand some of what I'm saying is perhaps true, and that when you can understand the fact that when the majority of the population accept anything that their government does and use the excuse of, well, what can I do? It's dangerous. And if you can understand that, then I beg of you, anything you can do, anything to fight it, look into this argument a bit more, and then maybe express that to other people. That's a start. I know people that have had the jabs because they would have lost their jobs. And they've got a mortgage, they've got kids, they've got car payments to make. So they were coerced into doing it. They feel terrible for having had to do it. And they fight it every day. On their social media and with family members and with friends, they voice that they feel this is wrong. So they, even though you can say that they've been participating in it, I don't think that if someone puts a gun to my head and tells me to do something, and if I do it, then the gun is taken away from my head, and then the next day I'm free again. So I don't feel like I was being compliant. I feel like I was put in a situation of absolutely no choice. I've been very fortunate that I do have choices, and I've been able to make my decisions without having to pay a huge price. For example, losing my home, losing my income, things like that. But yeah, I tell everyone my stand. I openly will tell people that I vehemently disagree with them injecting their little kids. I mean, back to the issue with kids. Anyone who says that it's safe, perfectly safe. I mean, now the information's out about myocarditis, especially for young boys, right? Now, the vaccine has had a lot more adverse events reported in women than men. But when we're looking at younger population and we're looking at under 18, it's young boys that have more serious adverse events, and myocarditis isn't reversible, so it is reducing their lifespan. I don't care how they try and whitewash that. That's the fact. And then you've got blood clots and other things, pericarditis. So, and we don't know what's going to be the long-term impact on their immune system, on their reproductive system. We don't know. We will know in 10 years from now and in 20 years from now. I mean, they might do the same as with the MMR vaccine and autism and the spectrum and say, oh, it's other environmental factors. Yes, it's correlated, but correlation on its own isn't evidence that mRNA is having a negative, MMR vaccines and all the vaccines actually, I think most babies on the day that they were born received the hepatitis vaccine on the day that they're born. I mean, why not start at the age of 5? A lot of these diseases like polio, they're to do with sanitary and they don't exist anymore. In fact, a lot of polio cases are due to bad batches of vaccines. So there's an argument to be made either way. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I am anti-unnecessary medications. Definitely. So people rushing to inject their child with the second booster or the first booster. So they've had 2 already, 2 shots, and now a booster because 2 doesn't work. So you need a booster. If it worked, you wouldn't need a booster. I mean, figure that one. I'll tell them to their face. I'm not doing that to my kids because my kids aren't lab rats. And shame on them. That's it. I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to cut it there. I can't go to shopping malls. I struggle. If I see a 6-month-old with a mask, I lose it. I really, really do. Seeing kids running around wearing a mask, I can't look at it. Those parents, I guess you could say it's up to them. It is up to them. I care too much, and I distrust. You look at history, And if you are a student of history, then your takeaway is you don't trust big governments. You certainly don't have them rule over you, and that's the situation today. All over the world, especially in the West, we are ruled over by our elites. And we should be protesting, we should be burning it down, and we should be fighting the police. Like I say, in the shopping mall, the security guard, yeah, it's not the police, but I told him where he can stick it. Yesterday we were in there's a Sunday, a weekend market. It's called Chachachak or JJ Market. It's huge and it's fantastic, and it was totally decimated because of the shutdowns and no tourism. And I saw a shirt and it said "F the system" T-shirt in a store, and it's like boutiques. And there were two youngish people, mid-20s, I would say, and they were both working in the store, and they're wearing their mask. And I said, I like that T-shirt. I said, but people don't know what that means. And they didn't know what it meant. They really didn't. Clueless. Young people, they're lost. They don't know what is of value. They think that their phone and their social media and the circle of friends that they keep, that's of value. It's not of value. It's what our grandparents fought and died for. Us, freedom, that's of value. And that includes freedom of speech, including bad speech. And it includes freedom of information, including wrong information. And in the marketplace of ideas, we can then sieve out the bad ideas and elevate the good ones. Right? And offending people. You don't have a right not to be offended. You know what? When I see you wearing a mask, I'm offended by you. Where's your respect to me? I need to respect everybody else, right? And, oh, this person's offended, you can't say that. Well, I'm offended. Why is it okay to offend me? We live in a mad world, and tyranny is going to rule. The World Economic Forum with that Klaus Vader and Billy Gates, they're going to succeed in their great reset. There's no doubt in my mind that they are going to succeed, because people like me are in such a small minority that it's just inevitable that they're going to succeed. So I'm just trying to do whatever I can right now to ensure that the future of me and my family during the rollout of the Great Reset and the generational period that we're going to be living under extreme tyranny, it could be a lifetime long, that me and my family get through it. Okay, if I was living through the Russian Revolution, I'm not going to be a hero and get sent off to the gulags. Now I'm going to say, stuff you all. You made your bed, now lay in it. I tried to warn you before the revolution. Now I'm off, skis, and don't come running to me. Especially those of you, not those of you who were ignorant enablers, but those of you who were cheering it on. Yeah? You've got nothing to find from me. You're on your own. In times of great hardships, you gotta pick who you help. And they have to be deserving, because your family comes first. After your family, I guess your neighbor, your neighbors. And then with the neighbors, it's your community, right? But it's got to start at the point and work its way outwards. Communism is the community comes first. Freedom is the individual comes first. So I stand with the individual. I hope the future of our children who have been vaccinated is bright and beautiful and fruitful. I really do. But with my kids, I'm not hoping, I'm ensuring that it is. And that's the difference. So it's something to think about if you're on the sidelines, if you've got like your gut is trying to communicate to you and you're not sure how to rationalize it and make sense out of it, just look into it some more. Research it some more and learn for yourself instead of being programmed, okay, by the media and local authorities and governments, okay, and big business also. There are brands that I don't buy at all because they offend me. Why should I give them my money? Some of them are a threat to me. So yeah, sorry, it's another kind of an angry video. I am angry. I'm not upset. I'm angry. And I struggle with people now. Good luck. Wear your masks.